You wonder why he got in the car that night with them, decided to take that bribe?
The questions that we can answer, for our peace of mind, we have, and the questions that we can't, and you move forward.
Can you say why extreme cruelty or atrocity? Why did you decide that?
The shots. There were 6 of them.
I think that
That's extreme.
I think that each of us may have had different opinions as to why we reached that conclusion. There were 7 different sectors or bullet points, that comprised the extreme atrocity or cruelty, and I think some of us got there for different reasons, but still reached ultimately the same conclusion.
Were there tears in the jury room?
Yes.
Yes.
Men and the women?
Did that indicate there wasn't premeditation versus the cruel and the atrocity?
I don't think that it indicates that there wasn't premeditation. I just think that we couldn't unanimously conclude that there was evidence of premeditation. However, we all agreed that there was evidence of the extreme atrocity or cruelty.
With this being such a big trial, many think that there's money to gain from being on the jury pool. What happens next? Any book deals, television, or are you guys
We want to be left alone. None of us even wanted to come into this room. So I don't foresee that for any of us.
What kind of strain did this put on your lives these last 2.5 months being here, like 8 hours a day and not going to your regular jobs?
You can do
it was our duty to do it. I mean, whether we're serving our company or our country, it was our responsibility to give it 100%. And everyone in here, came in here, and although we all have our personal lives and responsibilities and distractions, I think everyone focused 100% on this case from the moment we walked through the doors to the moment we left.
During the voir dire, either during the case or when you were being chosen as jurors, was it awkward to you to have Hernandez standing right there over you, especially toward the end of the trial if the judge had to bring you in to speak to you? What sort of, one of you is nodding, is that awkward?
It was uncomfortable.
It was uncomfortable.
Absolutely. It was uncomfortable for everybody to be standing around us.
Yes.
It's like, yeah.
What was your impression of Hernandez during the trial when you would sneak peeks at him?
I can speak for myself. I tried not to form any opinion because, again, I think that would just be speculation. We haven't heard all the fact yet. We didn't really know exactly what happened. I tried not to gauge his facial expressions or gestures in any way.
You all seem at this point just very sure about your decision. Was there a point during this trial where you were almost as sure the other way, that perhaps he did not do it?
You try not to form an opinion until you've seen the evidence.
We follow the court's orders. Assume that the man sitting in that seat is innocent until the prosecution proves he's guilty. And that's what happened today.
Did any of you know who Robert Kraft was before he came in, and what was the impact of his testimony when you saw him in the chair?
No. Yeah, I knew who he was.
I didn't know.
I had no idea.
But from our point of view, that was some of the most compelling testimony. Would you guys agree? Mr. Kraft?
I agree that it was compelling.
Yeah.
And we all felt bad because we thought he was sick.
Yeah.
Cold. Yeah, he had a cold. He had a cold. Felt bad for him.
It's difficult to say what witness was more compelling and what witness isn't. There was hundreds of them, 130 if you want to get down to it.
Did you guys take a poll when you first went? You start deliberations. Do you take a poll right away, or do you? I know you don't want to go into deliberations, but do you take a poll right off the bat?
We're not going to talk about what happened.
I tried.
Going back to Kraft, in what way was his testimony compelling for those of you who thought it was?
One part for me was Aaron's alleged statement that he wished at the time that Odin was murdered was made public because he was at a club at that time. To this day, we just went through a 3-month trial, and this is now a 1.5 years or 2 years later. We still don't know the exact time of Odin's murder specifically, so I don't know how Aaron would have had that information 2 years ago, if even today, after medical examiner's review, still don't have that exact information.